We've talked in this series quite a bit about the complexities of processing huge amounts of data. One consideration that always comes up in my big data Hadoop projects that I wanted to just include a little bit about is visualizing the output. Big data invariably is big and gnarly and often kind of ugly, and it kind of looks like this. So an important aspect of making big data projects on Hadoop a reality is investigating visualization tools. And they can be traditional or they can be modern. They can be simple or they can be artistic. So I wanted to show you a couple of samples in this and the next movie. So I'm going to start with the traditional. And when I say traditional, I mean traditional. Did you know that you can actually look at Hadoop data directly from within inside of Excel? It doesn't get much more traditional than that. Now, in order to do it, you need to have Excel 2013 and you need to install Power Query. That's a free download. Power Query installation is dependent on the edition and version of Excel. Not only do you have to have, I believe, 2013 or greater, there are different editions of Power Query for the 32-bit or the 64-bit version of Excel. You want to check that by going to File and Account, and then you want to click About Excel, and you'll see that this is the 32-bit version. So you want the version of Power Query that matches the version of Excel. Now, once you've got Power Query, it's really easy to connect to Hadoop. In fact, there are several flavors. The most native way is you can connect to a Hadoop file system. And you can see you just put the server name. Now, this expects that you have either an open port if you're connecting to a web-based server or a local server. You might remember that you can install HDFS on Windows if you get the Hortonworks distribution, so you can install it locally. In addition to that, you can connect to Microsoft Azure HD Insight, which is the Azure edition of Hadoop. Or if you're not using HDFS and you're using blob storage, you can connect to blob storage inside of Excel as well. So quite a lot of capabilities inside of a very traditional tool to connect to and work with some subset of Hadoop data. Okay, another very traditional enterprise tool that I see users visualizing Hadoop data with is Tableau. And I'm showing the Tableau desktop here, so I'll just show you a couple of the visualizations if you haven't seen them. They're pretty sophisticated. This is an example of a dashboard in Tableau, and it has drill down capability and just really nice visualizations, and it can ingest all kinds of data. So I'm going to go over to Data and say Connect to Data. Now you can see in terms of the data connections, I've got a trial version here. You'd have to actually purchase this to use it in production. It's great for proof of concepts to actually pull the data all the way through and visualize it. You can see it connects natively to so many sources, including almost every Hadoop distribution. So you've got Cloudera Hadoop, you have Hortonworks Hadoop Hive. Scroll down here. Notice we also have Google BigQuery, which is that alternative that I showed in an earlier movie. And if we wanted to connect to Cloudera Hadoop, we would just enter the information in here. We would say whether it was a Hive server or not, and then we could go ahead and connect and we could visualize through the rich Tableau interface. So I find that these enterprise tools are very well understood, and they really help when I'm doing new implementations of Hadoop projects.